Down and dirty as we get past the midpoint of August. Thanks for hanging out with us once again, folks. Paul Ihander with you. Max Goren is back as well. Next up for your ear holes on this Monday morning, it's the first day of class for many college students and university students around the Triangle. So welcome back to class. It was probably a little bit of an alarming wake-up call today going, oh, maybe I need to get back to it to fulfill my dreams of being something beyond what I was yesterday.
College educated.
Yeah, there you go. You got a degree. I still don't know where my degree is. I haven't found it yet. I know it's framed. I've moved around enough times throughout this great country. West Coast, East Coast, North, South. And my diploma, the last time I saw it, was hanging on a wall in an office. And then it came down. And I haven't seen it since. And this was 6 years ago. I have no clue where it is. Normally I hang it up. It's been encased in glass, one of my prouder moments of my life outside of my marriage, of which I just celebrated my wedding anniversary this past weekend with my lovely wife.
Congratulations, Paul.
Thank you. Yeah, made it a long time. I got 2 kids, so I'm in it for the rest of the time here. Got to get them to grow up, and I still need to do some growing up myself. I'm the Peter Pan of sports radio some days. But anyway, everyone back at class. Good to have all of you back with us here this morning. Probably not the best morning to be a Carolina Panthers fan after drinking the Kool-Aid after the Hall of Fame game. The Kool-Aid came up this time in a flavor, maybe way too much sugar, maybe not enough sugar, as the Buffalo Bills in their brand new stadium, which, maybe it was the grass monsters, right? We always talk about the turf monsters coming up and grabbing guys. Maybe it was the grass monsters this time for the Carolina Panthers, losing on the road 29-14, a real lackluster kind of preseason game, which Dave Canales puts a lot of emphasis into preseason games. I wasn't surprised to hear him say that, but he's really about all right, we got to get guys chugging, get guys chugging. He wasn't happy. There's no doubt about it. He wasn't happy. He wanted, well, you know what? Let's hear from the Golden Retriever himself. Dave Canales talked about Bryce and the starters basically going 9 and out on offense in this one.
My hope was 20-ish plays, but I also had a 3-series cap in my mind. We didn't earn those extra reps. The first quarter was over. We had 3 series. We went 3 and out 3 times. So we got to do better. We got to move the chains. We got to make sure we have more opportunities for those guys. But the intent of it was get your mind ready. We're going to play football. We had 3 series. We didn't come out with much out of those series, but that was also a part of the plan.
He was not happy when he was saying that, by the way. And it wasn't just body language. It was his eyes. It was we didn't do much. We didn't get anything going. Absolutely nothing. The game on Saturday afternoon, and again, I stuck with it through about 2.5 quarters, 3 quarters, and then I went, okay. I heard Dan Morgan. When I heard Dan Morgan talk, and we'll chat about that a little bit later on in the program, I was like, okay. And they stopped going to... they stopped trotting out the punter. Sam Martin didn't punt, I believe, after the first half. They just kept going for it on 4th down. They're like, at this point, we're just going to go for it. See what happens. And, Kenny Pickett went out there, had a couple balls batted down on him, but he was efficient, as a backup quarterback is supposed to be. They just didn't get anything going. And for those who were expecting a little bit more out of this offense, you should have. 3 and out on the first drive, I was like, okay, well, preseason whatevers. We can't get the ball moving. We're going to hand the ball off immediately to Jonathan Brooks to make sure he can take a little contact, and he did. But of those 9 opportunities, he ran the ball 4 times, and it was not positive yardage. Not at all. So much that PFF's rating of the Carolina Panthers offensive line right now as it stands, even with Hunt and Jackson in the lineup, is the bottom quarter of the NFL. The next man up mentality within Carolina. Imagine if they hadn't drafted Monroe Freeling or signed anybody in free agency at this point. It would be absolutely abysmal of what would happen. And we're right back to where this team started a couple of seasons ago. And I get it. It's the preseason, and I get it. You don't want to overreact too much. But if you could go back and look, and you can see it, right? The Panthers put up the post-game press conferences and locker room availabilities, and the locker room stuff's not great because it's not mic'd up really well. And in the preseason, you don't really get great mic'd up stuff, like the audio for some reason. Everybody's in preseason mode when it comes to audio. But the look on Dave Canales' face when he was asked about, hey, how many plays did you really want them to go? And then how many did they go? Like, he was annoyed. Like, it was actual, like, yeah, I don't know what game plan we were trying to run out there, but it clearly wasn't a thing. And the one thing about, Canales is he wears it. He's honest about it. Once you get past the kind of happy-go-lucky, it's a great day to play football crap, like, he's a pretty real guy. Like, he doesn't really mince words. That he's not great with them in the locker room. Like, I've heard more fired-up coaches, and he's finding his rhythm. I mean, you only win so many games in a season. You only get so many victory speeches, and he'll get there, I hope. But it wasn't. He was not pleased. It's very clear that they underachieved. And they went up against a Bills #1 unit. And the quote that I pulled out, you're going to hear it here. Let's talk about, have Canales talk about the loss against Buffalo, 29-14 on Saturday.
Overall, just the story was in the trenches. It was the run game, the line of scrimmage, those types of things. Talk to the group about it. And we got to attack those things. We got to make sure that we're fit right. Got to make sure we're playing with the right leverage. But really, it was on both sides. First group goes out there, really couldn't get anything going with the run game. Saw some disadvantageous looks on second and long, some different things like that. And then, once the second group kind of transitioned in there, we started to move the ball a little bit. But and the first group, the Bills made some fantastic plays. First of all, hats off to Joe Brady and having his guys ready to go. Josh Allen looked like Josh Allen. We were able to get some pressure, some good rushes out of our guys. That was good to see. Settling down, forcing field goals for some of those drives was good to see as well. But we got to start better earlier in the drive, and we got to just shore up the run game on both sides.
So that means getting going on first down. You heard what he said there. Josh Allen being Josh Allen. That's like it's almost a concession. It's almost a concession for a coach going, we know what we're going up against. We just have to try to minimize the damage. And also him saying that, and he was being complimentary. He absolutely was. And complimentary to Joe Brady for getting his guys ready to play. Like, clearly, the Buffalo Bills have something to prove in this year with a brand new head coach in Joe Brady. Again, more Panthers, like, connect the dots, draw the direct lines kind of stuff. DJ Moore. My goodness gracious. Like, could he get more open? He was trying to be, like, polite and nice about what Josh Allen does on the field because we all know what he's absolutely capable of. But it is a concession. It's a concession to great players saying we need to understand who we're going up against. We need to understand how ready we need to be. And the opening drives, and it ended up, you got to see why they paid Jalen Phillips such big money on that opening drive. Like, he chased Josh Allen around a ton. Like, you needed that kind of mojo and that kind of just kind of game-changing ability. And it did. They were marching down to a quick touchdown. They had to settle for 3 on that opening drive. But Allen wasn't, he wasn't superhuman. He was just playing his own game of football, and he was toying with the Panthers at times. Like, he had wide-open looks. The play calling was very good, and it looked like the Panthers' defense, whatever was happening with the defense, they weren't ready. They weren't ready at all to match up against them. I mean, Keon Coleman got the lone score, where Josh Allen extended a play, and Coleman, who was facing the same kind of situation that Xavier Legette is facing this season when it comes to being compared and trying to come out and turn a year 3 into something positive, ends up extending the play himself, puts his hand up, Allen finds him, and they score, and there's happiness in Buffalo. They were trying to minimize the damage in a preseason game, and understanding that if we had somebody like that was a game changer on that side of the football, maybe we're not having to speak so harshly about an offense that went 3 and out 3 different times. And it doesn't matter if you have a starting guard in the lineup. It doesn't matter if you don't have a strong right tackle who's only played there, honestly, in 2 preseason games now. It is about getting guys ready. It is about managing those expectations. I don't believe managing expectations for the Carolina Panthers in the preseason of the 2026 year, in which we are just crawling closer to the opening game here against Chicago, that those expectations should be a slow start in any game in the preseason. It doesn't matter who you run out there. Haynes King, Bryce Young, Kenny Pickett, whatever it is, and whatever backfield things that they should be getting ready for. Jonathan Brooks is a starter. At least that's what he should have in his head. So he should be running full bore and finding spots and finding places to run. And he just couldn't find them. And maybe that's just a hat tip to Buffalo and how good that football team is.
Yeah. I mean, definitely while Chuba Hubbard is dealing with this injury, Jonathan Brooks should, by all accounts, consider himself be the starter, and the team should consider him the starter. I mean, look, we have to remember, like, this is really his first preseason game ever, which is kind of crazy to say because this is what technically this is the third year of his NFL career. So, I mean, it was just good for him to get through it without any additional injuries when you have it's the same leg, right? The twice repaired ACL or Achilles. I often forget which one, but
knees.
It's not typically a good thing to have, double tears or double injuries on that and be able to come back and play. So it's good that he's able to get through it. I mean, in terms of this game overall, like, this is a really good example for the preseason doesn't really matter, so don't put too much stock into it. If you want to spin it, at the same time, if they went to Buffalo in the regular season for a game, they probably also wouldn't win that either. So you can kind of have less of a takeaway like that. The sky, and hopefully no one's really feeling like the sky is falling based on a kind of lackluster preseason effort against Buffalo, where the starters only played 3 series, and granted they weren't great series, but hopefully they're getting out the kind of slow start now, because what it looked like to me is very similar to what the first couple weeks of the regular season have looked like over the last couple of seasons for Bryce Young and that offense. So hopefully they can kind of shake it off and get back into a flow when the games really start counting and really start mattering here in less than 4 weeks.
Yeah. So much was made of Darren Waller being signed, and he should report to camp today, assuming he passes the physical. But a lot of that talk was about, all right, do we have a rangy, somewhat someone in the middle who's got long arms that can help us out in the interim when, Tedro McMillan's being double covered? You're not going to get him the ball as easily as you did last year. Last year, he still was surprising people for some reason, and there is a lot of talent in that base. There for sure is. They just couldn't get a lot of things going. They couldn't. And no, the sky is certainly not falling. But if you're talking about a game where you were like, maybe they should at least try to put a first down together, and you don't get one of those at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no momentum there. That's running onto the field, taking snaps on a simple 2 count, and then going, all right, well, I'm glad we showed up to dress up. Like, there still has to be some sort of, positive takeaway. The positive takeaway, Jonathan Brooks coming out there, Dave Canales, happy to see Jonathan Brooks tote the mail again.
It just felt good to see him out there running, getting hit, getting tackled, popping up, going back to the huddle. So, I mean, somewhere in the second half, I walk up to him, and I got a little emotional just knowing the journey that it's taken to get back to this point, playing ball on the grass in a stadium. And so I was really pleased with just JB being able to get out there and get back going.
A little choked up for John. To be honest, this team plays again. The Panthers play again on Friday. They have another preseason game Friday night, and it's at Jacksonville, and I would expect the same kind of goals for this team. The same. I mean, you could talk about what they're trying to accomplish here in this preseason. Let's look at the tape and let's figure out where we need to get guys settled and get some reps. And still, game reps are meaningful reps. It's up to the players to make them meaningful. And for Jonathan Brooks, I hope that it's not limited to 3 series, 3 and out. Well, great. No player, I'm not just saying him, no player can get into a rhythm on offense on 3 and outs. In the preseason, you need something. You need something to get you propelled. And if you're looking at things that should make you happy, it's defensively. Those solid individual plays. As a unit, they weren't very good. But individually, you saw what Jalen Phillips can do. He did it on back-to-back plays on that opening drive that Buffalo went down and kicked the field goal. You saw Lloyd move around a ton. You got to see the guys that you paid the big dollars to do the big dollar things. And I think that's important to understand, that your motivations and the money that was spent in the offseason was still absolutely worth it. Still made a lot of sense to get going. And is it Cam Gill? I think it's Cam Gill. He was like the UFL Player of the Year or something like that. He had a ton of sacks last year. Comes out there trying to earn a spot at linebacker and making his presence known. Like, he had a sack. I'm like, doing the right things and doing all the positive things that, gets attention. That's the kind of stuff that grabs your attention.
Yeah, they need that depth now too, with the way the injuries have played out. So the more he can do to make an impact and show that he's ready for that NFL opportunity, the better.
Yeah, the fight, or I don't know if it's a fight with Cloud Trellius and Prince Liuma-Mielen. I don't know if it's a fight. I'm not, or Trevin Wallace. I mean, I could include all those in there. Liuma-Mielen will benefit from Jalen Phillips. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So 29-14, that's the bit. No one's happy. No one's happy. Canales is annoyed. No one got any rhythm. Kenny Pickett was solid, though. Hey, Kenny Pickett. Got yourself a solid backup quarterback, making sure that he's going to be consistent, which is what you need. Not spectacular. You just need him to be consistent. That's the most important thing. But, man, Josh Allen, wow. Hi. Marriage did not trip you up whatsoever at all. And Hallie Steinfeld, it's not too terrible either. Just saying. And he's expecting a child with her. Congrats, Josh.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Panthers starting offense struggled in Saturday's preseason tilt against Buffalo, going 3 and out on the first 3 series in the first quarter en route to a 29-14 loss. Backups Kenny Pickett and Kyle Trask each threw for a touchdown in the loss. NC State basketball forward Ven-Allen Lubin announced on Saturday that he will return to the Wolfpack this season after being granted a 5th year of college eligibility. Lubin started every game for NC State last season, recording the 3rd best field goal percentage in the country. It was a return to form for world number 1 golfer Scottie Scheffler this weekend. He cruised to an 8-shot victory at the FedEx St. Jude Championship in Memphis, which was the largest winning margin in 68 years at TPC Southwind. The PGA Tour playoffs continue on Thursday with the BMW Championship at Bellerive. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
I guess we could call him a super senior. I guess that's the best way to call Ven-Allen Lubin, who on Friday was ruled by a judge that he would have a 5th season of eligibility to play basketball. Ven-Allen Lubin, for the first time in his career, and this has been pointed out, and I had to go back and look at it, but it's truth, and when Corey Smith of Pack Power says that something is, then it is, that for the first time in Ven-Allen Lubin's career, he will play at the same school in back-to-back years. He played at State last year and will play at State again this year. And he is assured of playing basketball for the Wolfpack one more time. Had his best year with the Wolfpack, and decidedly show it should be that way. Only 4 years of play. Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, goes to Carolina, averages, he's pretty much been averaging kind of the same kind of statistics for the last season and a half, right? Averaging 13 a game, 7 rebounds a game. His thing is, and for a lot of folks that don't want to remember the Will Wade era of North Carolina State basketball, which lasted all of one whole season, he was called Ven-Allen Wade because he was such a coach's kid. Like, he was out there just pleasing the last coaching staff in practice and in games. Like, did everything that he was asked to do. Like, good soldier, solid professional kind of attitude when it came to playing basketball, and was always in the gym. And I'm assuming he's still in the gym right now working. The guy was first in the conference in field goal percentage. You get that back. But the one thing you do get back is you can't teach height. And for a guy who I believe was it was pretty much him, right? Last year, Max, he was pretty much the tallest guy on the team, and they had him playing center against, unfortunately, other centers or power forwards that masqueraded as centers.
Yeah,
And
they
he was
had
getting pushed around a ton.
I mean, they had a little bit of other height coming off the bench, but nothing that was really the same quality as Ven-Allen Lubin. So he was kind of forced to take on that undersized center role, despite only being 6'9", maybe 6'10". So now with the new roster that Justin Gainey has assembled, particularly with the addition of Kyle Evans out of the portal, who was like the number one rim protector, averaging like 3 blocks a game last year. Now maybe you can start Lubin at the 4 with that unit. He doesn't have to contend with as much size and worry about taking on as much of a rim protector role, while still bringing that consistency and efficiency that really shone through last year. Like, I would argue he was the most consistent player on NC State last season. You knew what you were going to get from Ven-Allen Lubin. Good effort in rebounding, despite not having the most size inside. And he's going to get you high percentage looks on the inside and around the rim. As I mentioned in the update, third best field goal percentage in the country last year. It was like 66.8% or something.
Yeah,
so
no, you're right on the money there.
really, really good effective field goal percentage as well. Because again, he's getting those high quality looks. He's not going to put up a ton of bad shots or low percentage shots. He's going to get you those efficient and consistent buckets. So. It's a nice pickup. I think it's Trilly Donovan on Twitter who says sometimes the best portal pickups are the guys that you already have. So that could be a really, really big addition for Justin Gainey in his first year to bring in an experienced returner that he didn't think he was going to get. And we'll see how much that can help out that front court. I'm interested to see how they kind of pivot with the guys that were already in there because, Lubin comes in. Now, granted, he was, again, already here last season in Raleigh, but now he's got to come kind of get up to speed with the new regime, the new staff, and catch up and kind of get the chemistry on lock with all of these new guys because, again, other than Paul McNeil, not a ton of returning faces from last year's team. But this has got to definitely help them out. And with the expanded NCAA tournament as well, got to think it increases their chances of making it back into the big dance this season.
It's just not it's a really solid lineup. It really is. If Coach Gainey can run out, and this is just me spitballing here, that kind of a lineup. If you put Ven-Allen Lubin back in the lineup at power forward and place him next to Kyle Evans,
and then your backcourt is Hammond, Ed Mead, and Paul McNeil for that starting five.
There it is right there with R.J. Keene playing kind of super substitute, kind of 6-man role.
They say he's the best guard in the country that doesn't score.
Right. So I just need him to play defense. And if I can roll out to him, and if Mikey Wilkins has come up and figured it out here in the offseason, which everyone says, he's going to play a larger role, and they're asking him to play a larger role, that is, and Jakari Brim coming over from App State, that's not a bad-looking 8 right away.
I'm thinking
that's a really solid 8 with a lot of experience.
It's Yalaho, the transfer from Wazoo as well. I think he may have been in line to kind of start in that 4 spot before. So interesting to see whether he ends up in that starting spot or maybe he's the first kind of 3-4 off the bench. And Darius Adams as well. I think maybe he was kind of looking to be that 6-man off the bench, the transfer from Maryland. They got a lot of depth on this team for kind of a fully turned over roster, and except for the exception now, they get 2 guys coming back that played really big roles last year. Paul McNeil, who I'm sure if by all accounts, if he can continue a similar level of success, if not continue to kind of develop, will be contending to try to be one of those all ACC guys when it's all said and done at the end of the year. To get him and then to get the experience back with Lubin, that's a really, really big pickup. I guess you could say pickup, but it's really kind of, a return. Like I said, sometimes the best pickups are the guys that you already have. So
locker room chemistry.
Yes.
More than anything else.
And by all accounts, it seemed like everybody on that team was a fan of Ven-Allen Lubin and really liked playing with him. And as you mentioned, was a coach's favorite with the previous coaches as well. No reason to assume that can't continue this year for the Wolfpack. So big news with the 5th years, and They didn't get everybody back that became eligible, but they got back probably out of the group, other than Quadir Copeland, who wouldn't have been eligible because I think he's ended up signing a contract with the Houston Rockets anyway after NBA Summer League. Out of that group, to get Lubin back, I think that would be the one that NC State would have liked to have the most, and now he gets to come back for one more year. His first time coming back to a school for a second year. Only took him to the fourth school that he played for in college for that to happen.
He has started 100, or he has played in 125 college basketball games. 125. That is bonkers. And durable in that same point, knock on wood, again, for Wolfpack fans who are just getting the news this morning and finding out from us. Durable, for sure. But the potential, again, if you make deep runs and how things go, a college basketball career of 160 games, it's insane. That is just ridiculous. And hopefully he's stayed, if you go to court and you're like, hey, I'm trying to get a fifth year, I'm assuming he's probably still in the gym right now. He's probably still hoisting free throws at this point. So, he's not shooting threes. He was a rim finisher, not dunks. He was good about cleaning up the glass and could do those things because I think he probably played with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder too last year. So positive news for the Pack as they get things going. And yeah, camp opens up soon for them. Basketball starts just as quick as college football does. And so good news for Wolfpack.
Not just as quick. I mean, college football, it's 12 days away.
Yeah, week 1 or week 0, whatever it is for Pack and the Tar Heels starts Monday, 7 days from now. Like game week preparation begins. I'm sure it's already begun, but I don't know how much tape you can get on your opponents at this point other than last year's tape.
Carolina doesn't really want to look too close at that tape.
That's it. Yeah. Probably not.